friends, and welcome back to another video. My name is Julie if you're new here, and today we're going to do something really fun. I am going to rank all Colleen Hoover books that I have read. So I've done one other of these tier ranking videos so far, and it's been really fun, and I thought maybe let's just do another one. And when I looked through all of the existing lists, I found this one. It's all of Colleen Hoover's books, and I'm going to rank the ones that I have read. I love watching tier ranking videos, and I have already watched some that include this specific list, I believe. So I hope you enjoyed this one. Let's get started. Okay, so first of all, let's go through the different tiers that we have here. Lowest one is TBR, the ones that I haven't read. Not my thing, just the ones that really weren't for me. I would recommend them. Yes, please, I liked it a lot. And my all-time favorite Colleen Hoover books. So let's start with November 9. I have read this one, and this one is quite controversial, I believe, and I understand why. There's a huge plot twist, and I wasn't the biggest fan of that one, so I would say I still would recommend it, definitely, but it isn't one of my favorites. I loved the beginning, it was very cute, very beautiful, but yeah, the plot twist really wasn't what I was expecting, of course, which is good, but I don't know if it's something that is redeemable for me. And yeah, this one really was a difficult one to read because I did enjoy it so much up until that plot twist. And I know Colleen Hoover likes to do that she raises moral questions with her books, and yeah, I just don't know if I liked the ending, but I would recommend it. Then we have Reminders of Him. I read that one last year, and I think it's the only Colleen Hoover book that I actually own, which is wild because she's my favorite romance author. But a lot of these don't have the cutest covers, but I do like this cover. Reminders of Him, yes please. I did like the story a lot. I read it in one day, I believe. It was a really quick read for me, and I found the story very interesting. And here as well we have the moral conflict, but I did like it better than November 9, which I know some people might disagree with. But yeah, I did enjoy it a lot. I went through a roller coaster of emotions that day. Then here we have Maybe Now, but I'm going to start with the first one of that series, which is Maybe Someday. And that was one of the first Colleen Hoover books I read, and it got me so hooked. It's one of my all-time favorites. I really, really like the series. I just love everything about it. It's so good. I love the beginning of the book. It got me really excited for the characters, and it's just so compelling. And it's probably one of the most inventive romance stories that I've read. And yeah, I read all three of these in one go, and I loved all of them. So I'm going to put all of these three in the top all-time faves tier. And I know that Colleen Hoover doesn't really write the same type of book twice, but I would really hope to read another romance like this one from her again. Next up we have Hopeless. And I did read this. I rated it 4 stars, but honestly I would put it in would recommend. I think I also rated November 9 4 stars, so we're like on a high level here. From my enjoyment level, I would still say I enjoyed it less than November 9 though, because I just really don't remember that much of what has happened in this book. I think the romance wasn't the best one that I've read by Colleen Hoover. And also the story just had a lot. going on, because I just don't like that much drama. That is why I wouldn't rate it higher on this list, even though it was still a 4-star read for me when I read it. But I don't know if I would still rate it that today, to be honest. The next one we have is Never Never, and I haven't read that yet, so it's on my TBR. And I forgot to mention that Hopeless is actually a series of books, but I haven't read the other ones yet, so this one's going to go there. And this one as well. Okay, the next one is really niche. I didn't even know that it existed, and I had to look it up, but yeah, it's on my TBR now, I suppose. Then we have Confess. I did really like this book when I read it, but right now I can't remember that much, except for it being a lot about art. And that's why I put it in the would recommend here. I mean, I did rate it 5 stars when I read it, so it must have been really good. And I still remember that it had a really fun idea and storyline around it. But yeah, it wasn't one of these Colleen Hoover books that stayed with me for a really long while. Contrary to that, Regretting You is one that I definitely thought about a lot after reading it. Really enjoyed this one, and I loved the characters, which is why I'm going to put it in yes please, more books like this. What I really loved about this was the generational conflict, as well as the mutual pining between the characters. So cute. I need to reread this one. We have Heartbones, and I do own this one. Oh, I did say I do only own one Colleen Hoover book. I do own this one as well, but I haven't read it yet. Layla by Colleen Hoover is the only Colleen Hoover book that I read that I didn't enjoy, and it's not my thing. I started it and it just, I don't know if I just wasn't in the mood for it, or if I didn't like the storyline at all. But yeah, that one wasn't my thing, and that's okay. Can't like every book. Okay, Point of Retreat is the second part of Slammed, which is why I'm going to rate Slammed first. I really like the story. It's very emotional, and it has like a forbidden romance. It's a student-teacher romance, and it was the first time that I actually enjoyed this trope, because it was done in a way that I found like at least mildly believable. It wasn't like the main conflict. There were other things around it that made it much more interesting and that brought the plot forward. So I will put this in yes please. I did rate this 5 stars as well. On the other hand, the second part of this I did not enjoy that much. I only rated this one 3 stars, and it's not my thing. There was just too much insecurity going on, in my opinion, which is not fun. I didn't really know where the story was headed. It just wasn't a conflict that I liked. Oh my god, all your perfects. This book made me cry so hard when I read it. I don't know if I can even put it in my all-time faves, because it's such a sad story. You can't really say that you like what's happening in this book, but still, I think I'm going to put it either here or there. But yes, please didn't sound appropriate as well. I'm just going to put it up here. It's really good. I think Colleen Hoover has done something really great with these characters. They are so relatable. You can feel every emotion they're going through. It's just so good. Even though, as I've said, I was really sad while I was reading it. This Girl is part 3 of the Slammed series, and because I didn't like the second one, I didn't read this, but maybe I will someday. Then we have It Ends With Us. I think this is probably one of the most popular ones. It's all over TikTok, and by this time I think everyone has read it, and I did enjoy it so much. I mean, not the story, obviously. The story is horrible, but I did like it a lot. And I realized that there are points of the story where you could come for Colleen Hoover, But honestly, there are other authors that have written about the same thing in even more detail and even more gruesome than this. And I don't know if anyone would say that they are romanticizing it because it's a romance novel. I mean, it's not about that. It's about showing what goes on in the mind of someone that's going through this. And I think there are just so many different realities that this is happening in, and this made me, in my case, realize how it can be and how it can feel. And I could sympathize a lot with the situation that our main character was in. And yeah, for me personally, it helped me understand why or how something like that could happen. But I can't really judge. But I love the book, and it's still a fictional story. So yeah, I'm just going to rate this based on my personal opinion. Then we have Without Merit. This is a book that is more, I think it's YA or middle grade, and it reads very young, and I think it's one of the earlier books by Colleen Hoover. I would still recommend it though, but it wasn't as deep as some of her other books. Too Late I haven't read. This one I haven't read either. I think it's maybe also a collection like this one. I don't know. Then we have Ugly Love. This is my all-time favorite Colleen Hoover book. I love it so much. It's just the best, in my opinion. When I read it, I was like, that is my new favorite author. It's so good. This is like just the type of romance that I enjoy, and it made me want to pick up reading romances again. That's what it did for me. So I will forever love this book because it fueled my love for romance again. And yeah, probably the only romance book in which I actually like the drama. And lastly, we have Verity. Verity is very different from the other ones. I mean, they are all different from each other, but this one I feel is different. I mean, I would say Lila is like that one as well. Not that these two are the same, but they are both different from the others. But Verity is definitely not what you would expect. And I still don't know about the ending. But I'm going to put it in yes, please, because I enjoyed reading it a lot. It definitely kept me on my feet. It had a good pace. It was surprising, and in general, a good book. Yeah, I also read like the additional chapter that came out, and that was creepy. And I don't know if there's going to be a second part of this, but if there is, I'm up for it. Interesting story. I did love the beginning though, because like, which author gets the idea that watching someone get hit by a truck with another person could be a meet cute? Like, that is such a bold choice, and I admire it. I don't know what that says about me though. So maybe let's stop talking about this. Okay, so this is my final ranking. We have the Maybe series on top, All You're Perfect, It Ends With Us, and Ugly Love. If I had to rank these, Ugly Love and the Maybe series would definitely be way on top. These are my all-time favorites, and the other two favorites as well, but in a different way because these are very hard-hitting. And only two that I didn't enjoy as much, so there is a reason why Colleen Hoover is my favorite author. And I didn't even know that there was still so many more books by her that I haven't read. There's even more coming out. I know that she's going to publish probably another one this year, and I'm very excited. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this tier ranking video, I have another one where I rank book tropes. Maybe you will enjoy that one as well. I'll link it for you right now. So, see you in my next video. Bye!